Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of BNA Sports Talk. So today what I want to talk about is Anthony Harris. This is an Anthony Harris themed episode. I'm probably going to do another video about Yannick Ngakoue, but this is a episode of my mock draft Giants series and what Anthony Harris bringing in could mean for the Giants draft. Now, there's so many scenarios that we can do with this. We can trade back at 6 and then get 2 picks. I'm going to do basic this time. I'm going to talk about all those options, but let's keep it basic. But before we get into that, what would it take to trade for Anthony Harris, and what addition would he be to our team, and what would we have to pay for him? Let's talk about that now. So Anthony Harris, 3rd PFF overall grade, just a solid safety that feels like he's getting better year after year. Got drafted in 2012 by the Minnesota Vikings in the first round. So he's just a top prospect, and I think he's still on his rookie year contract, ideally, because the extension. Now he's going to want a long-term extension. Anthony Harris would create depth for this team in this coronavirus-filled year with Jabril Peppers and Julian Love, who are good but young. Adding veterans for veterans' sake isn't a good idea. I agree with Joe Judge, but I was talking about Antoine Bethea. I don't want to bring in Antoine Bethea and be like, yeah, he's a veteran guy. He can bring in leadership. Obviously teams in the Super Bowl, you have the Eagles, the Patriots that have won, that have a lot of depth on this team, a lot of depth and old age veterans on their team. Teams like the Falcons, even teams like the Rams didn't really have a lot of older guys. Obviously, you had Andrew Whitworth and Aaron Donalds on the Rams and stuff like that, but they're still led by younger players. And the Denver Broncos, they beat Carolina, and Carolina just had all those drafts with Dave Gettleman. So experience wins in this league. Obviously, you want youth, faster guys that are going to be more available, not going to get injured. You guys get the point of that. But Anthony Harris would teach Julian Love and make him a better free safety, and I think it will create more flexibility for Julian Love to play that nickel corner spot and fill another need for this team. I think overall, with our safety core, those 3 guys, you're looking at a decent safety core. You're looking at a top 10. Especially since you have Jabril Peppers coming back healthy, and I think it would be great. Julian Love didn't really have a lot of reps last year, and I think Anthony Harris would help that out a little bit with a little bit more flexibility. And so we would ideally pay him 10 to 11, but he's probably going to cost 12 to 13 for $3 million for a 3-year deal, bringing him to 32 years old. I think if we maybe extend to 4 years, he'd accept $10 million a year. Obviously, that's not going to make a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but we're going to have to pay Daniel Jones. We're going to have to pay Saquon Barkley, so it's always something that you're going to have to think in the back of your mind. We're going to have to pay these guys. These guys aren't going to come free. They're not always going to be $7-8 million contracts. We're going to end up having to pay them 3 times that amount in a couple years. Probably Saquon Barkley, a $25 million running back. No, just kidding. Probably not. Unless there's a huge... Okay, I'm not going to... Okay, let's talk about the actual draft. What would this mean for the Giants draft? So we would have to trade for Anthony Harris, obviously. And those 2 scenarios I can see. One's a long shot, but I think it'd be interesting. Just a swap. You would have Leonard Williams traded for Anthony Harris. Now, that'd create a need for the draft that I think we can fill, and it would create an extra $5 million in cap flexibility that you can potentially bring in a guy like Jadeveon Clowney for a 1-year contract, and potentially, if he has a great year, sign him to a long-term extension. But I wouldn't love that, to be totally honest with you. Or you can trade your 3rd-round pick. Now, the Vikings, they have a lot of draft picks this year, 2 first-rounders and stuff. They're trying to get rid of all their contracts. I think at this point they may be like, yeah, why not? They'd be more willing to do it. And I forgot to mention with the Leonard Williams trade, they are losing a lot of guys. Linval Joseph, they lost Sheldon Richardson. They're losing a lot of depth at this defensive line position. Leonard Williams fits with their scheme, and I think they'd be down. I think they'd be totally down. We'd lose a 3rd and a 5th, but picture just a 3rd and a 5th traded for Anthony Harris, and then you won't be that mad. That's what Darius Slay went for. Anyway, so let's look at both scenarios. I'm going to have them taking an offensive tackle in both first-round scenarios. I'm not going to have them trading back and getting 2 second-rounders early in the draft. Obviously, this would be amazingly ideal, but I don't want to mock it because I don't think that I should do this because it creates a little bit too much complexity. So let's say we're going to draft offensive line at number 4, Jedrick Wills / Andrew Thomas. Okay, so now you have your offensive line almost sorted out. You still need a center. In your one scenario where you trade Leonard Williams, you need an edge guy. And with Anthony Harris, getting Anthony Harris for the 3rd-round pick, you'd have 1 pick available at 36, and you'd be forced to take a center. So in the Anthony Harris for the 3rd-rounder, you'd pick a center, Tyler Biadasz, Cesar Ruiz, maybe trade up, do that scenario for the 3rd-round pick. And then for the Leonard Williams swap, I think you'd still draft center at number 36. I really do, because if you take a look at the positional value late in the third round, I think it's better. Honestly, you're going to have your guy from Florida, Javon Kennard, Zabari Zuniga. You're going to have those guys. But still in the second round, you can still get guys like Okwara, Nate Uche. I know a lot of people don't really love him. Zach Bond. So those are the prospects that you're looking at. I think either way, you're going to get offensive tackle and center. Because if you take a look at it, the reason why we want Isaiah Simmons is a guy to make our defense elite. And in the end, I kind of agree with a point I made a month ago, Anthony. I'm like, you had your crown jewels. You got to protect them. Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones. You have to make them productive. You have to make those draft assets seem the best as possible. And the way we most improve this year would be defense, I think, with Isaiah Simmons, honestly. But if you bring Anthony Harris in, I think that'd be good enough. Your secondary is solved, and your pass rush is decent enough, especially if you don't get rid of Leonard Williams. And then your offense is going to take a step forward, especially when you don't have to worry about him getting pass rush. So Daniel Jones can learn the offense a little bit better in practice, in all aspects. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now. Anthony Harris would be a great idea for the Giants to bring in. It would create us more flexibility for the draft. We'd have a lot of cap space still available. You know, we still have $10 million available if we sign him, especially if we get rid of Leonard Williams. It'd be closer to 15, and then we have a little bit more flexibility going into the season and into the draft. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think. Should the Giants bring in Anthony Harris? What would their draft look like if we do bring him in? And what would you trade for Anthony Harris? Do you think we could give up a second-round pick, or do you think third-round pick or bust, or maybe even our fourth-round pick? Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.